He made history as America's first black billionaire when he sold BET to our parent company Viacom in 2001.
Yeah, now Robert Johnson is on the forefront fighting for racial equality and justice, and we are so lucky to be joined by the legend and an American treasure himself, Robert Johnson. Good to see you and good morning to you.
Morning.
Good morning to you guys too. Great to hear from you guys.
You unveiled a $14.7 trillion reparations plan. Can you tell us about it and what are reparations for our viewers who may not know?
Well, reparations is simply a nation making a commitment to atone for past sins to a population that has been essentially denied equality of opportunity as other citizens. And in the case of African Americans, some 40 million descendants of slaves, it is reparations for slavery, Jim Crow segregation, and racial inequality that has deprived African Americans of access to equal wealth and equal opportunity.
And can you tell us your thoughts about the calls to defund police and what would you suggest?
I think the call to defund police is the wrong proposal to a difficult problem. The police as a whole do what they are assigned to do, which is protect and serve. Are there bad apples in the police force? Absolutely, just they're bad apples in about every other enterprise in this society and around the world. But the focus should be on how to get the best talent, train the best talent, keep the best talent, and pay the best talent, rather than defunding police budget. Insist upon quality talent, quality performance, and to pay the police. I mean, a policeman is much like a doctor in this sense. A bad doctor can decide life or death. A bad policeman can decide life or death. But we pay our doctors because we want the best. Why not pay the police who have that same ability in certain circumstances? Pay police the best. And this idea of reimagining police, I don't think it has a real a possibility, because what happened when you send a community police officer with no gun to a situation where having nothing to do with the police, but having to do with the problem in a home or a problem in a situation that caused that person's life to be threatened or even worse. And then what do you say? Well, he couldn't defend himself, or we should have sent a policeman. That's a problem. You can't solve a problem by just saying we're going to do away with police and have people who are not police dealing with problems that can get out of hand, and that's why we need police.
And Mr. Johnson, it's no secret that the African American community has been dealing with police brutality for quite some time. During the 60s and of course in the 70s when Marvin Gaye wrote a song about it. And you look to where we are now. Are you surprised at the reaction behind the George Floyd death there in Minneapolis across the world now? It seems like we are moving in a direction of change, or at least more people are calling for it.
I'm not surprised at the reaction to the George Floyd death and around the world. Of course, as you know, the world is now global. It's no longer, pockets of populations here and there. Things are instantaneously transmitted across the world. So I see that as a result of globalism. And I also see it as people's concern about what's happening to people who have been treated unequal. And that's throughout the society, whether it's France, Germany, or any place else. The issue, though, on this is, how do we solve a problem that is in the Black community as well as a problem of bad policing? And so we should not just focus on one issue. I think as Black Americans, we need to focus on the totality of issues affecting our communities.
And Robert, last question before you go. What is the best way people can push for change?
Well, we're in a free enterprise capitalistic system that believes in democracy and the vote. And I think the best way you reach for change is to get involved in the political system. That's why I've called that Black Lives Matter ought to form its own political party, develop candidates, run candidates, and focus on things that are in the permanent interest of African Americans and not be an appendage of one party or ignored by the other party. I believe that the ballot is the best way to change society as long as we're going to be a free market democracy.
Mr. Johnson, just want to say thank you for coming on to the show, and just want to personally thank you for just being an example and your contributions to not only American television, but world television when it comes to starting BET. It was the first time that I had even learned that an African American could even own a television network. So you did it, and we appreciate it, and we thank you for that.